Hello and welcome to my Elite Dangerous, my adventures, cargo missions. Be sure you watch the last video where I did bounty hunting. Many of you thought that would never happen, I'm sure. But it did, and we've gained 7% on our combat rating. So we'll be doing more of that over time to try to up our combat rating. So be sure to watch that one. Now we need to see if there's any cargo missions here. If not, we'll have to put it on pause until more show up. I did move about 50 million into the fleet carriers balance because of the weekly upkeeps. Wanted to top it off over $1 billion. So we need to make up some of that before we do some planetary exploration or something else. So we're looking for gold and silver and palladium to New Dawn. We'll take that. That's a good one. So we can take 100. 100 more is all we can take, but we can go ahead and accept more if we find them. Yeah, those are pretty good. I like those palladiums. Yep, that's to New Dawn. Let's go ahead and accept it. Doesn't mean we'll load it yet. Probably will. At least we'll have a full load. See, there's a silver to New Dawn, but we have a gold. We only take silver if we're trying to top off. And there are combat missions. I'm not saying we will or we will not accept those in the future.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
Sis left. Yeah, several videos ago I ranted about the non-subscribers. I probably shouldn't have went that far, but as many of you know, I am very opinionated, and it is frustrating that you put the effort to make 1,000 videos and you can't get more than 1% of the total viewers to subscribe. So that's going to always frustrate me. It's just how much I vocalize it. And I probably will vocalize it a little bit because it's, you know, you should be supporting those channels that you watch. I'll go over to New Dawn. But I really suggest you watch my bounty hunting, because I'm kind of shocked I did it too. Eventually I might put weapons on my other ships, but it sure takes a lot of power. So I don't know if I want to tax my other ships that much. Might just keep it to the Vulture and the Fer-de-Lance. I have heard if you submit, I don't know if this is true, but if you submit to the interdiction that the pirates in solo mode, the NPCs are more closer to your rank or less. So if that is true, at some point I might put some gold or something in the Vulture, couple of units of gold or something, and tempt the pirates to interdict. and then go after them. But we'll see. Combat's still not going to be my favorite thing to do, because I'm more of an explorer trader. But I would like eventually to get to elite, triple elite. I have an elite status in exploring and one in trade, and it would be cool eventually having one in combat. So I'm kind of working toward that. Just over the last day, I have increased my combat rating by 7 points. So, yeah, it's only 7, but at least it's 7. And it's gone pretty well. Sis left. My guess is I will expand my combat experience over time. See, right now I'm doing resource extraction sites. Not the high, just the standard. The low I think might be a little bit too easy. The standard one seems to be fine. So for the moment, I'll probably keep doing that and get more comfortable. Yes, I'm using touch controllers with Oculus Rift S. Not like a Sothis, that's for sure. It's not as easy to stay on the target, but I'd like to get used to just using the touch controllers. Right now it is working. And some of you might think, boy, you can't stay on the target. Of course you can't. You're using the touch controllers for Oculus. They're terrible. Or it's the way they're mapped or something. Frontier needs to work on the VR, that's for sure, to improve it. Sis left.
Okay, Commander. Please land on pad 3-8. Acknowledged, Commander. Clear for assisted docking.
But I'll probably look into putting weapons on the cargo ship. And just see how it goes. Well, we just have to see what the power requirements are and how big of a power plant I currently have and how much I'll have to up the power plant power just to have weapons on the cargo, and it will add weight, and so there's a lot of factors involved. If I use the Vulture and the Fer-de-Lance, then when I take those ships out, that's why I'm taking them out is for combat, and they're strictly set up for combat. Like I'm using the reactive bulkhead, or the reactive shields, and like the maximum bulkhead.
Touchdown sequence complete. You may disembark when ready. Good to have you, Commander.
But I think my Vulture is pretty well set up. I'll remember to set the power distribution better than I had it. But we survived it. And the videos that I have watched on bounty hunting says that don't hold your bounties too long. Just go ahead and Just do a little bit, take a break, go by the station, collect on your bounties. Because if you die, you lose your bounties. And really, I'm not really worried about the bounties or the money. It's just the rank that I really want. And no, I wouldn't lose the rank. So that probably means more to me than anything else about combat. Is this right? And you see our combat ranks at 30% competent, trade rank elite, and explorer elite. I haven't done any close combat. The CQC, still helpless there. Maybe in the future, you know, I might try to work on that a little bit. Maybe go 4 elites someday, but we'll see. Is this left? Is this left? I still would like for my viewers to subscribe to our channel. Doesn't cost you anything. You get up to 2,000 subscribes. And I've started subscribing to small channels under 1,000 subscribers. And it hasn't killed me. I haven't had any dragons come down and try to peel my skin off or anything like that because I subscribe to someone's channel. Sometimes I think that's how our viewers feel, that something terrible will happen to them if they subscribe to somebody's channel. And you should support the channels that you watch. You would think that would be common courtesy. But there's not a whole lot of common courtesy anymore, so I guess I can understand. But I'm practicing what I preach. I've already used about 1,000 of my subscribes to subscribe into other channels. So if I can do it without being eaten alive by a dragon, then you can do it without being eaten alive by a dragon. So, or a Thargoid come down and attack you while you're sleeping or something like that. It hasn't happened to me, so. And those that hate that content creators push for subscriptions, well, it's too bad. We have to have subscriptions because that's how YouTube sets it up. So then don't watch YouTube if you don't want to be asked for a free subscription that costs you nothing. So maybe you shouldn't watch YouTube, because that's how YouTube rates its content creators. So that's kind of disturbing that someone gets so irate because somebody asks for a subscription. Really? Are you really that selfish? That's my question. So, yeah, that attack can go both ways. I'm going to always harp on it because that's what YouTube requires of us, content creators. I've created 1,000 videos. I have put in thousands of hours in putting this together. And if you attack me for asking for a subscription, I'll just attack back because you're selfish. Because it's true. So. Okay. Well, I do feel better since I've upped my combat. I was, in the past, just doing skimmers and stingers out of an SRV. But then it got to the point it took about 10 kills just to make up 1%. And I knew when I get to expert, which is the next rank, it would even be worse. So I knew I had to do probably bounty hunting. And this week, this last day, or the last 24 hours, I started playing around with it. Didn't really know what to expect, but it didn't go as bad. I didn't have a dragon try to peel my skin off because I was doing combat or anything like that. Sis left. So it didn't go so bad. I do worry about the friendly fire situation, and several people believe that Frontier has nerfed that a little bit, where in the past maybe they instantly, if a friendly fire incident happened, they stuck a warrant on you. Many think that's been kind of toned down, and I'm kind of thinking that too. So probably if you have an enemy targeted and somebody like a security ship gets in the way between you and the target, and they just happen to get hit by a beam, I mean, usually it's not going to destroy them, like it doesn't destroy my ships either. And I have been hit by security forces not shooting at me, but shooting at the bad guy, the pirate, and they didn't start blowing the security ship up. So it's the way it should be. You're not aiming for them. Now, if you just keep shooting at them, that's one thing. But if it's just a stray beam that hits someone you didn't intend to, they shouldn't count that against you. Sis left.
Docking request granted.
Sis left. But it's all a learning experience. And with Elite Dangerous and with YouTube channels, there's a lot of frustrating times because we put so much effort into both, and then there's frustrations in both. There's good things in both, but there's also frustrating things in both YouTube channels and Elite Dangerous. I do like combat in No Man's Sky better than Elite Dangerous. I think it's a lot more forgiving. Now, resource extraction zones like low and in the standard, that's not too bad. That was actually pretty good. So I don't really have any complaints about that, especially if they have nerfed it. That's a really good thing.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
And there should be some setting somewhere in the game that for newbies or people trying something new, that their ranking's not real high, it should be more forgiving too, because most people are just trying to learn it, and it's not always easy. So Sis left. And I'm never going to like interdictions. That's never going to change. I think it's unnecessary. Like in solo. I think you should have a setting that you can set as the player if you want interdictions or not in solo. And I'll always feel that way. That won't change.
Landing gear retracted. Ship released. Engines engaged.
So please press that subscribe button. Consider the channel, helping out the channel. Look in inera.cz under Galaxy, System and Stations, Fleet Carriers. Punch in the search RG-FC.
3, 2, 1,
which is the name of our fleet carrier. It'll tell you where it's currently located. Find it and put tritium in it. That would really help too. We will give you access to our early access videos if you do that, because that does help the channel and it would be greatly appreciated if you did something like that. Yeah, we have an interdictor. So for me now, I slow down to right below the blue bar. It just seems to work for me, and we don't pass up the station. My preference on that has changed dramatically over time. It's kind of been all over the place, but right now that's kind of the way I like it. Seems to work for me. And at the moment, if we get knocked out of Super Cruise, we will boost, maximize our speed, and try to get back into Super Cruise. If we're too hot, we'll use the heat sinks. But in the future, I'm not saying we will, but we might put weapons in our cargo ships. Sis left. And yes, I can pretty well handle the interdictions. I just don't like them. I think it's a nuisance, especially when you get like 5 to 7 in one Super Cruise run. It's way too excessive. And I really don't like that. Sys view. Be sure to consider donating to our site. In the description we talk about the ways that you can donate. Please consider donating. That would really help our site. We have a Patreon page, patreon.com/gfm_rdg. That would really help our site, and you get the early access videos even quicker that way, because we link them in the page. So consider doing that. That would really help us. And underneath the video to the far left, you see our YouTube channel where there's around 1,000 videos now. So, I mean, we're putting in the effort to bring you videos. Sis left.
Priority access will be granted upon request. Access granted. Please land on pad 37. You are go for automated docking. Enjoy the ride, Commander.
Please consider subscribing. And I'm going to always harp on that, because that's what we need. YouTube has caused that. Content creators don't ask for subscriptions just because they want to. It's because YouTube requires it. We have to have like 1,000 subscribers even before YouTube even considers helping us in any way. So, fuss at YouTube about that if you don't like it, or don't watch YouTube. Because we didn't set that up that way. And we don't do this just out of the goodness of our heart. Thousands of hours worked just for free. We're hoping in the future we get some kind of support from YouTube or from advertisers or something.
Docking confirmed. Power down your engines. Good to have you, Commander.
And everybody should try a YouTube channel just to see what it's like. You'll have a whole different perspective if you ever try one, because they're a pain in the backside. So, and sometimes the viewers are pains in the backside too. So, I mean, a lot of you are kind and encouraging, and you do subscribe, and you do make it public so I can verify your subscription and all that, and I appreciate it so much, those that really try. But the ones that are just viral, no. I'd rather you go watch somebody else's YouTube channel. We don't need you here. Is this right? Is this left? Well, we're going to go back to Sothis and just be ready to pick up another load. And no, I'm not going to do a combat every day, but like when I get tired of doing cargo runs, we'll probably do one, and we'll go do some planetary exploration after we do a bounty hunting. And then we might do another bounty hunting, and then we might do cargo again, or we might go to Dab's Hope and collect material, or Jameson crash site, or
Clear of the landing pad. Regulate speed until outside the exclusion zone.
might visit more of the engineers to top off all of our ships, and go with the engineer or the experimental.
Ready to engage. 4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
I was pleased to see there are some resource extraction sites in Ceos that are decent. Yeah, it worked out pretty good. And I might even like it better than the high security. The Ceos and Sothis is medium security. I might like the medium better because you don't have so many security forces all over your targets. And the chances of friendly fire are far greater, I think, because I was down at Seoul earlier. And yeah, I think it was much tougher just because of all of the potential friendlies that you could hit. Is this left? Because that's probably the most of my concern, even more than getting killed, is hitting friendlies and get warrants out on you and stuff like that. which might result in the same thing, but man, it's only 1.4 million if you get killed, when you can make up to 100 million an hour doing cargo missions, you know. That's if I'm not doing videos on them. I can do more, but because I can just grind it, but I don't really need to make 100 million an hour. I don't mind doing a video. Kind of keeps it from getting as boring. Because grinding can be boring. It really can. And yes, the 25 million I pay per week for upkeep on the fleet carrier is too much. Yeah, the longer I have the fleet carrier, the more I don't like that. It's just, it costs too much. I like having it. I just don't like the cost. It's very high. You have to grind way too much to have one. I mean, will I keep it? Probably so. They need to cut that down to about 5 million. 25 million is just too high. I think they will over time, because I think people complain. I think they hear the complaints all the time that it's too high. And it is. Check out our No Man's Sky and Subnautica videos too. Those are pretty cool games. I like those. They're not, the graphics are not as realistic as Elite Dangerous, but there is a reason that No Man's Sky is ranked 15 and Elite Dangerous is ranked 74. There's a reason for that. If you play both of them, you'll start to see the differences. No Man's Sky is much more forgiving for the player that don't play all the time. Just left.
Docking request granted.
Elite Dangerous can bite you even when you're trying not to be bitten. So, and it's too much of an obstacle course. Always stick a little more to reality and a little less pirate fantasy and obstacle course, I would like. My own personal opinion, and you know I'm very opinionated, so watching my channel, you have to put up with some of that. There's times I'm kind of moody, where I rant about viewers not subscribing.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Well, I do appreciate you coming along. Be sure to subscribe, consider donating, joining our Patreon page, visiting our YouTube channel, and watching our other 1,000 videos. So until the next video, thank you for watching. Goodbye.